Hi, my name is Jake Shit, and welcome back to another episode of Bad Creepypastas. The 2017 season finale is here, and we got something special picked out for you. This one in particular I dug out of my cat Peter's litter box.
May you rot in the darkest dankest pits of hell.
So sit back and enjoy this 45-minute long shitstorm. 45 minutes long. Pray for me. Five, 6, 16. Hi, I'm Aiden, and I'm writing this blog about a series called Spongebob's Schizophrenia. In recent times, a tape has been discovered in the Nickelodeon studios. It is a Betamax tape. Wait a minute, what the Betamax tape? Did that, hang on one fucking minute. Did Betamax become obsolete? In 1988, Sony began to market its own VHS machines, and despite claims that Sony was still backing Beta, it was clear that the format was dead. So 1988 was when Betamax tapes died. Alright? Why a Betamax tape? Why the fuck? Anyway, it is a Betamax tape with the writing SpongeBob Season 10 premiere episode. The episode is called SpongeBob's Schizophrenia. According to sources, the episode starts in SpongeBob's house. He looks crazy and is saying, "The shadows play with me." Then he laughs maniacally. The strange thing is, SpongeBob's voice sounds like a demon's. Ooh. SpongeBob starts to ooze foam from his mouth. He takes an antipsychotic pill. The pill fails to work, and SpongeBob takes out a cartoony pistol and kills Gary. His body isn't shown. Squidward then yells to SpongeBob, "SpongeBob, shut up!" And SpongeBob looks straight at Squidward and says, "The shadows shall engulf you, mere mortal. Give praise to them or perish." And Squidward says, "Whatever." And returns to bed. A time card appears saying 25 past midnight. With a strange sound in the background, Squidward is shown sleeping for nearly a minute. Squidward wakes up and sees a square shadow holding a chainsaw. He screams as the shadow revs up the saw. The screaming was like a person shouting, not cartoon. He keeps screaming over the sounds of the saw. The shadow puts the saw to Squidward's body, and Squidward screams as he's being cut up, and blood splatters on the wall. Then he died, and SpongeBob emerges from Squidward's door, holding his cartoonishly severed head. He feasts on it and laughs maniacally. He then runs to his house again and emerges with a pair of knives. He runs to Patrick's house. He screams, "Oh, Patrick, come and play with me." Seriously, that's how it's written here. I really don't know if this is a troll pasta or not, because I saw this on Troll Pasta Wiki, so it could very, very well be a troll pasta. I have no fucking idea. It's under review on the Spin Pasta Wiki. You know, it's not classified yet, so I have no idea. He screams, "Oh, Patrick, come and play with me," as he stabs Patrick repeatedly. SpongeBob then draws a pentagram on Patrick's floor. He sacrifices Patrick's corpse. There is literally no sound for this 7-second sacrifice. I think a sacrifice is a little more than 7 seconds. It's just not, throw a dead body into a pentagram. That's not it. I think you need at least, something else like a fire involved, but you can't really have a fire underwater. Oh, fuck me. Never mind. Never fucking mind. SpongeBob laughs again and runs to his house. He is seen at a table with Squidward's partially eaten head. brain exposed and eyeballs hanging out. It says, "My beautiful honey, will you marry me?" As Squidward's left eye blinks once, revealing he is alive but slowly suffering and dying. His skin sheds, leaving only muscle and tissues exposed, and his facial organs and nerves snap and fall apart. His head is now nothing but a pile of random organs, and his eye blinks again. The bubble transition shows, and for 30 seconds, SpongeBob is seen kissing the pile of organs and putting a ring on it inside of a church. SpongeBob looks demonic and says to Squidward's organs, "I am your Lord and Savior, Bikini Bottom. Praise me." As the episode ends with SpongeBob committing suicide by stabbing himself in the heart. At least, that's the only point the contents of the tape are known up to. The episode was written by Jill Francis and Philip Revkensky and animated by a person named Jorgs Pubenstein. Yeah, oh my god, Pubenstein. This is definitely a fucking troll pasta. No doubt. But it's kind of on the fence between troll pasta and shit pasta, so we're gonna continue. Even if this was a troll pasta, this isn't a good one. Trust me. The tape itself was watched by the SpongeBob staff, and they were put into medical help right after watching. Reports vary, but it was said that when questioned, they all refused to tell what happened after SpongeBob committed suicide. And when they were insisted, they still refused. No one knows what those employees saw, and no one will ever know the full truth. There have been many attempts to find the tape, but no one has ever found it. The only things that remained are a few screenshots of the episode and a possible audio track of the episode. The audio track lasts 10 minutes, but strangely enough, after 6 minutes, the audio is merely a strange static sound, but 9 minutes in, a strange, loud, distorted audio can be heard. 3/14/17. Hi, it's me again. I haven't been on this for a while, so nothing has happened to me after writing my first blog. I have been recently mailed a tape that was from John Deaf. I looked up this guy's name, and apparently he's a worker at Nickelodeon. I also got a letter from him. This is what it says. Dear Aiden, I have noticed that you're interested in this quote-unquote series of ours. This tape contains the episode you were talking about. The manager told me to burn the tape, so I said yes, and instead mailed it to you. Please, talk care of it, and don't tell anyone else about it. Jeff. My name is Jeff! I opened the box, and it contained a tape called SpongeBob Season 10 Premiere. So I played it in my VCR. It showed what I said for 6 minutes. Then after SpongeBob kills himself at the 6:24 mark, it abruptly cuts to the Krusty Krab. It shows the inside of the restaurant. It looked so abandoned. Mr. Krabs was just standing there looking at a wall, then he falls to the ground and he opened his office door. It zoomed into the door, and for about a second it showed an image. It looked like a body. Then it shows the kitchen and a mountain of bodies. Then it cuts to Sandy's dome, where Sandy looked like she was gonna commit suicide. She does commit suicide by hanging herself. Then it cut to SpongeBob's house, and cut to his room where his dead body remained. At this point, it was 9:01 when this loud, strange static sound played. SpongeBob's body stands and turns to the viewer. His eyes were so yellow and red, and his body had the biggest slit mark I have ever seen. Then he walks closer to the screen. When he was close to the screen, he said this, "Ha ha ha." Then a loud static followed, then the tape ended. I put the tape in my safe and locked it and put it in my closet. I'm gonna call Jorgs Pubenstein. I want to see what he says about this quote-unquote series. So for now, peace. 3/15/17. Today I got in contact with Jorgs Pubenstein after 3 times of calling him, which left me to his voicemail, which said, "Hi, this is Jorgs Pubenstein. If you're looking for him, then he's busy animating or something. So leave a message, thank you." I left a message. This is what it says. "Hi, this is Aiden. I was wondering if you can give me more information about Spongebob's schizophrenia. I've seen the tape, so please just contact me, thank you." An hour later, he contacted me. At first, he was crying for the first minute or two. Then he said this. "Hi, Aiden. This is Jorgs. I'm the animator of SpongeBob Schizophrenia. I wanted to tell you, I did animate that, and I was forced to. So this is what happened. I was recently hired as an animator for SpongeBob SquarePants, and these 2 people told me that they were directors for a new SpongeBob episode, and they told me to follow them. They knocked me out, and when I woke up, I was strapped to a chair in a warehouse. Those 2 people told me to work on SpongeBob Schizophrenia. They told me the story, then they forced me to animate it. It was hell on earth. A few days later, they let me go. It was on February 17th, 2014, when they hijacked it on TV. I seen the full episode, and I couldn't go to sleep for a whole week." I asked him about the audio and how it was loud and weird at the 9-minute mark. He said this. "The loud static contains screams and people getting murdered while there is static." Okay. Yeah. I said thank you and contact me when you can remember more information. Then I hung up. I will blog tomorrow with something by. There's a 9-year-old little kid detective on the lookout for more of this SpongeBob Schizophrenia information. It's a juicy fucking story. 3/20/17. Well, today was a little interesting. I was looking at my blog and it had 145 followers. One of those followers as Andrew Schizo. He is an animator, and apparently he was one of the animators for the SpongeBob Schizophrenia series. He emailed me saying this. "Hi Aiden, this is Andrew, the one who emailed you. I wanted to talk to you about that series. I was 23, a fresh new animator out of college. I was thinking of studios to animate for, and the first thing that popped in my mind was Nickelodeon. So I contacted them to see if they were hiring animators. Surprisingly, they were hiring animators. So I got hired for Nickelodeon. I was told by a manager of the studio that I was going to animate SpongeBob SquarePants. I was so excited. On my first day, I was sketching SpongeBob. The second day, I was approached by Jill and Phil. They told me that they were managers for SpongeBob SquarePants. They also told me to follow them to their office. I was gullible back then, so I followed them. When they stopped, we were at an abandoned-looking office. Limited. As soon as I looked at the office, everything went black. I woke up in a warehouse with a guy named Jorgs. They told me to animate now or they will kill me, so I did. There was more episodes we made. I have all of them, but I will send them through a period of time. I asked him if there was credits at the end of the first episode, and he said yes, and I will send them with the mail maybe tomorrow. I hung up. That's all I needed to know. 3/21/17. Today I received a package from Andrew. It was a box. Inside the box was a DVD titled Ending Credits. I immediately remembered the phone call yesterday with Andrew. I put the DVD in my DVD player and it cut to the credits of the episode. This is what they said. Credits. Philip Reckf, Jill Francis, Andrew Schizo, Jorgs Pubenstein, Andy Freer, Nick Judes, Stephen Hillenberg, Denton Reeves, Harp Newt, Tech Worth, Torda Ryu. Then the DVD ends. The credits had no audio at all, which was sort of weird. I do have a question. Why is Steven Hillenberg in the credits? 3/22/17. I am still weirded out by the fact that Steven Hillenberg was in those credits, but I decided to give him a call. Call 3/22/17. Me. Hi. Steven. Hi. Me. Do you know SpongeBob Schizophrenia? Steven. ... Steven. That ... Steven. Fine. Steven. So, it's 2013, and I remembered that I hired 2 junior managers for my show. Well, turns out that they were apparently black market users. So one day I was called into my office by Jill and Philip. They told me they needed me for a minute. Well, it was way over a minute, I'll tell you that, haha. I ended up at a warehouse. They turned to me and said, "Right now." I looked down at the table and there was a piece of paper and a pencil. But they told me that they were gonna make a new series called Spongebob Schizophrenia. I wrote the horrible story for them. A few days later, I was called into my office again. It was Jill and Philip, but they had a VCR player. They told me to sit down, so I did sit down. They put in a tape. Then they pressed played. What I saw was hell right in front of me. Me. Yes, I have seen that. Steven. Oh, ... Ellipses. Sobs. Ellipses. Steven. I'm gonna go. ... My God. Call ended. Well, there I have it. There is Steven's story. I think the best part of this pasta is like the sign-offs for each entry in the blog. It's so blatantly written by a kid, and if it's not, then it's some great mimicry, I have to say. 3/23/17. I got mail from Andrew. It was a box again. Did it contain a VHS tape called SpongeBob Schizophrenia Episode 2? Yes, I said as I rushed to my VCR player. I put the tape in and pressed play. It started out with an intro. Who has schizophrenia? SpongeBob! Who's gonna murder everyone? SpongeBob! Who are you gonna hail to? Bobagnops! Bobagnops! Oh my God. That's what I'm gonna call SpongeBob for the rest of this episode. I'm gonna start calling it Bobagnops. The intro then ended and cut to episode cards saying Bobagnops before the murders. It cut to SpongeBob's house, then to his room where he was playing with a paddle ball with Gary. He proceeds to stand up and goes to his kitchen. Then he is shown cutting up some beef meat. Then he says under his breath, "Kill." Then proceeds to chop up the meat. Then he eats it and goes outside. He is shown walking with Patrick to the Krusty Krab. Bobagnops then says, "Patrick, would you ever kill someone?" Patrick says, "No." Bobagnops then proceeds to say, "I have these voices in my head saying, ... to kill people. I don't know why, but I don't want to kill. I'm SpongeBob SquarePants. Why would I kill? I have been happy my whole entire life, and this is what it had come to. Isn't it a sponge wanting to kill people? Then so be it, for the love of fish. I'm going nuts, Patrick." Patrick says nothing. Then it cuts to the Krusty Krab and into the kitchen. SpongeBob is making Krabby Patties on the stove. Then out of nowhere a deep voice says, "Do it. Kill them." This voice says it about 30 times. I could be wrong. Then SpongeBob says, "Yes, I will kill them all." A time card says, "1 day before the murders." Then it cuts to SpongeBob's room with SpongeBob sitting there looking at the floor saying, "I will do it." Then Bobagnops looks at the screen briefly and then the episode ends and cuts to credits. I noticed something odd about this credit. Steven's name was not shown. 3/25/17. "Hi, this is Jill Francis. I will get you." 3/26/17. I do not know why you guys get in my account and do this shit. So today I got in contact with Techworth. Call start. Me. Hi, do you know anything about Spongebob Schizophrenia? Tech. Yes. Me. Okay. Me. Do you have a story? Tech. Yes. Me. Can you tell that story? Tech. Yes. So it started maybe 3 or 4 years ago at Nickelodeon Studios. I was an animator for SpongeBob at the time. One random day, these two fucks named Jill and Philip came up to me and said, "Hey, do you want to be on our new SpongeBob project?" Yes, I said. So they took me to a warehouse with some other people. "Come and sit down." So I sat. They told me in the ugliest voice, "Animator, you'll die in pain." So I animated this shit of a series. I wasn't amused when they showed me the episodes. Man, I hope those fuckers are dead. They treated me like a black slave in the 1800s. They whipped and punched me. After it was over, I quit Nickelodeon Studios and moved to a new location. Man, it has been so long. Me. Thank you. That's all I needed to know. Call ended. Wow, I can't believe it. 3/27/2017. The photo you see above is the photo I took during the SpongeBob Before the Murders episode. It is funny of how I uploaded it here. I will talk tomorrow. Bye! Fucking retarded. 3/28/17. I got another episode today. It is called Running the Boys from Andrew. It was a VHS tape. I played it on my VCR and clicked play. It started out with the intro from the previous episode, but this episode had better animation. It cut to Patrick's house where SpongeBob and Patrick were playing on their new video game system they got. The game that they were playing was called Fish Fighters. Then Bobagnob says, "I am gonna beat you." He does. Bobagnob laughs in victory while Patrick just sits there looking at the game over screen. Then it cuts to downtown Bikini Bottom. Bobagnob is shown walking on the sidewalk with some groceries. Then out of nowhere, some fish that look like 1950s gang members come up to SpongeBob. They say, "Give us all the stuff." SpongeBob then refuses this and grabs out a very large sword, then proceeds to chase them. This goes on for about 6 minutes, but it showed different angles of the chase, which was really odd. Then it goes to an alleyway with the gang members and SpongeBob. SpongeBob then says, "Who's up first?" with a crazy look. The gang members scream and it cuts to a view on the sidewalk, not showing the alleyway at all. There is a sword sound. Then it cuts to SpongeBob and Patrick. SpongeBob says to Patrick, "What a day!" They proceed to laugh and it cuts to credits. I took the tape out in amazement. There was no gore in this episode, I thought, but I do have a question again. Why was there excellent animation? Why is there excellent animation in these things? I don't understand. It's always supposed to be bad because it's lost. You know what? Why does anything have great animation at all? Why does everything just have to be animated so greatly? If I want to make animation, it's going to be shitty. There. I said it. 3/29/17. I'm confused at the animation quality. I looked at the credits and found it's Steven's name again. My guess is that they forced Steven to animate with quality. Also, I found a wikia called SpongeBob Schizophrenia Wikia. It only had the 3 episodes that I posted on this blog. I also got another email from Andrew today. This is what it says. "Dear Aiden, I see that you viewed the 2 episodes I gave you. Well, the one I'm gonna give you, oh boy, that is gonna be a treat. I'm gonna stay low till I mail you the next episode. Peace, Andrew." Again, what does he mean by treat? 3/30/17. 2 things happened to me today. 1. I got another SpongeBob episode, and 2, I got a voicemail from an unknown person. Here is the dialogue of the recording. Voicemail start. Unknown. ... Well, look who I found. Aiden. Well, if you hadn't guessed it, it is Philip, that creator of SpongeBob Schizophrenia. I swear if you post one more thing, I will. Voicemail end. Well, I know it is Philip now. I got another SpongeBob episode called Treat. I think Andrew was punning me. Oh, that silly Andrew. I played the episode on my VCR because the episode was on a VHS cassette. The episode starts out with the intro, but there is more dialogue. Who you gonna kill? Tack! Then the intro ends and cuts to the title card. Then it cuts to SpongeBob's living room where Gary and SpongeBob been just sitting there doing absolutely nothing. Gary meows in hunger. SpongeBob realizes that he needs to get food for Gary, so he rushes out the door and runs to a car. He throws the fish out of the car and drives off. The next scene is at a forest, possibly outside of Bikini Bottom. Baba Knops stops the car in front of a tiki-style house. He walks towards the house, and it cuts to inside the house where Baba Knops is about to go into a room. He does go into this room, and we are shown two fish who are sleeping in a bed. Baba Knops grabs an unidentifiable object and runs to the bed. He puts it over his head and he thrusts it down before anything else happens. It immediately cuts to SpongeBob's living room. SpongeBob is giving food to Gary. The food looks like mush covered in ketchup. I was grossed out by this. The episode ends there and shows the credits. I noticed Techworth's name is not in the credits. 3/31/17. Nothing really new happened today. I got a voicemail from another unknown caller. It was just static. I found a website with info on the episodes. There was only 5. I have not viewed it yet, but it apparently is called Blood. The description says this: SpongeBob goes to his house and finds B. Also on the main page there is a phone number, so I called it. It took me to an automated system and said this: press 1 to die. Press 2 to meet Philip. I pressed 2. Then a man deep voice said, hello. I said, hi, and immediately hung up because I'm a pussy. Go who knows who the hell that was, but it sure did sound like someone. 4/2/17. Nothing new happened yesterday. It was April Fool's and I got a lot of emails from people who claimed to be the workers for Spongebob Schizophrenia. I got one in particular from Nick Junes. Hi, this is Nick Junes, one of the volunteers for the show. If you have time, please contact me back. Thanks! So I emailed him back asking him about the show. I got a response about an hour later. Here's what I know. I helped make 7 or 8 episodes and an episode for season 2. It was maybe 2013, 2014 when we made this stuff. I have not got in contact with the creators in years. That's all I know. More info I need. More info I need. 4/3/17. Sorry I've not posted something in a while. I've been busy with things and you know how that is. But you posted yesterday, you dipshit. Are you losing track of your days, me boyo? You know? You losing track of your days? I got another episode from Andrew today titled No More. I played the episode on my Betamax system. It starts out with the usual intro, then it shows Bubbles, then shows the Krusty Krab. It shows a fish ordering a regular Krabby Patty. Squidward says in an unusual voice, congratulations, you are the 1 millionth customer. Here, come and follow me for your prize. It abruptly cuts to the kitchen where SpongeBob is making some Krabby Patties. The patties have a more orange color than they usually do, which is odd in my opinion, but that's just my opinion. The door next to SpongeBob swings open and slams SpongeBob into the wall. Ow, SpongeBob says. This is our 1 millionth customer, Squidward said. Mr. Krabs comes out of his office and says, what's going on? Squidward says, we have our 1 millionth customer. Mr. Krabs then proceeds to get a smile on this face and says, let's celebrate, in a creepy tone. The door then closes and SpongeBob, Squidward, and Mr. Krabs circle around the fish with crazy-looking faces. Then it pans out of the kitchen and into the dining area. Then beating up sounds play. No! No more! The fish says it pans out to outside where a liquid sound is playing, and it does this for about 1 or 2 minutes, then I cuts to credits. I was not very amused that it was just another not blood murder episode. 4417. I was looking up some random things today on Google, like puppies, dogs, cats, houses, studios, random towns, etc. Well, I was looking for places near me from about 50 or so miles, and I found a building that looked pretty abandoned but looked brand new. I don't know how those two could go hand in hand, but only if you could see it, maybe you would believe me. Okay, so I decided to go to this building, and oh boy, I've got a story for you. Yes sirree. Yeah. So I arrived to this building about 30 minutes after I left my beautiful home. Note, it is not that beautiful. That was just a little, over-exaggeration on my part. So I got out of my car and walked to this building. The grass looked like it hadn't been cut in 60 or so years. I opened the double doors to this building, and the first thing I saw was a receptionist desk and some chairs. Next to a wall at the end of the room was a door. I decided to walk to it and open it. There right in front of me was a long hallway with many, many doors. I walked down this hallway with many doors. The doors had names like production room and animation storyboard room and others like them. I reached the end of this weird hallway and stumbled across a door named owner's office. So I decided to crack the doors open like I crack open a cold one with the boys, and what I saw was, say, in the most fact, creepy. The room was like a big warehouse, and very few lights in it. Was a desk table, a chair, and a ... person. The person was mumbling things like, "SpongeBob must continue," and "I will make more episodes." This person looked at me in the creepiest face I seen. I slammed the door shut and ran down the shitty hallway. I was stepping in shit that whole time. I closed the double doors in front of the building, got in my car, and got the hell out of there. I looked in my mirror before I was completely down the road, and I saw the person looking at my car. I think that might be Philip. 4517. One of the main questions I get is, where did you find that info on the first blog? Well, it's sort of simple. I was searching up SpongeBob on the internet and stumbled upon a weird website. The website had a shitload of words. So I read most of the words, and they were about a show called SpongeBob Schizophrenia. So I decided to make a blog about it. I abandoned it after one blog because of daily life. I also got another episode called SpongeBob Stories. I am pretty sure this is the last episode for all 7 episodes. I played the episode. The usual intro started, but the ending of the intro was the kids saying, "Kill all!" But I was not amused by that, since the show evolves around murder. So it cuts to SpongeBob's house, where SpongeBob is writing on a piece of paper on a typewriter, which in fact Bob Knops does have a typewriter if I am right. He keeps typing for 30 seconds and goes to Gary.
"I wrote a story, now I'm gonna share it with all the people in Bikini Bottom,"
Bob Knops said. Then it cuts to the Krusty Krab and asks Mr. Krabs to read a story. He does. He screams and runs to his office. He then shows his story to Squidward. Then he reads it and melts it into a liquid, saying, "That was." SpongeBob then leaves the Krusty Krab and goes to downtown Bikini Bottom. He then shows his story to random people in downtown Bikini Bottom. Most of them freak out when they read the story. SpongeBob questions this and retreads his story out loud.
"I can't believe I murdered him,"
holding his stomach.
"What kind of person am I to murder my best friend? But it feels so good to murder people. It just feels amazing with their screams. Oh hell, time to murder other people."
SpongeBob then laughs and goes back to his house and writes some more stories, and the episode ends. Well, I won't be updating this anymore until maybe I get some more SpongeBob episodes. Till then, peace out. 5317. Why am I back here, you may ask? I'm back because I found something interesting on the website a few weeks ago. There is apparently an alternate episode of the first episode. Another one is that I have not gotten the blood episode yet. Lastly, there is apparently a 2012 pilot reel. On April 8, 2017 at 4:33 p.m. I got a box from the mail saying, "Real." My first thought is that this was a joke, but it was not when I opened the box. There sitting in a box was a 1930s reel tape and a projector. I was actually amused by this because I was fascinated with all things from the whole 20th century. I found a plug-in for the projector. I put the tape in the projector and played it. My first thoughts were, this is probably an old film, but when a familiar theme started playing in that old audio of the projectors, I knew this was gonna go somewhere. A title card popped up saying, "The Life of SpongeBob SquarePants." I knew this was made from the same people from the previous episodes, but this episode had more quality animation. It starts in what is supposed to be SpongeBob's house. His house is a box. So SpongeBob was sitting there watching his TV and said something. The audio sounded so blurry and aged that I thought that I was gonna blow up. Bob Knops then gets off of his couch and walks to his kitchen, saying in now more clear audio,
"Time to feed Gary."
He opened a cabinet in his kitchen, and what was in there was sorta unusual. It was filled with boxes saying human feet and bloody-os and death food. These names I thought were funny. Boo, when he fed Gary the death food, Gary became pale and went unconscious. Did I mention that this was in color? Bob Knops is shown dragging Gary's body to the backyard. SpongeBob grabs a shovel and buries Gary. SpongeBob cries for about 10 to 20 seconds and it cuts to the credits. On April 10, 2017, I received a box containing 2 videotapes. One was called Blood and the other was called Alternate. I decided to play Blood first. The SpongeBob theme plays and cuts to the title card Blood. It starts in Patrick's house where SpongeBob and Patrick are playing a game. Spo gets bored of the game and leaves. Spo, you didn't even bother. It cuts to Spo's house. Spo is on his couch, looking really dehydrated. Spo says in an old man type voice, "I need it! I need it now!" Spo runs out of his house into Sandy's house. By the time he got there, it was already night. He opens Sandy's dome door really quietly and sneaks into Sandy's tree. SpongeBob, of course, is wearing a bowl with water in it. SpongeBob licks his lips and gets something out of his pocket while looking at Sandy.
"My tasty blood."
SpongeBob puts this object, which turns out to be a needle, into Sandy's arm and sucks some blood out of her. It cuts to a montage of SpongeBob to the same theme with other people in Bikini Bottom. It cuts to a card saying 3 hours later. It shows SpongeBob's living room with a pool filled with blood.
Yahoo! This is fun!
The episode then cuts to the credits. Alternate of the first episode. I'm not a big fan of alternative episodes, but this one was odd on its own. I decided to play the tape after the Blood episode. This episode doesn't even have the theme song in it, it just cut it to the title card which said Suicide. It starts in SpongeBob's room and SpongeBob is on the bed muttering to himself, say things like, "I must end it all." He cries loudly for 5 to 10 agonizing minutes. Then he proceeds to get a wired-looking gun and, well, shoots himself right on the spot. He falls to the ground and blood splatters everywhere in his room. There is a piano playing in the background while it shows a gravestone of Baba Knops, and the piano music turns into a screaming person while the image gets disturbing. A hand pops from the gravestone and an image of a dead Baba Knops appears. I got scared when that happened. Then it shows his dead corpse running down the street, and when someone see him, they scream and run. Spo continues to run and runs into the Krusty Krab. He runs into Mr. Krabs' office and says,
"Oh, honey, I'm home."
Mr. Krabs looks up and says, What's the horrible smell? SpongeBob then proceeds to jump on Mr. Krabs and chokes him to death. SpongeBob runs to see Squidward, but Squidward ran while he had the chance. The sky turned pure black and everything disappeared besides SpongeBob.
It's just you and me, Alfred.
The thing that sacred me the most is when he knew my name. Are the creators watching this blog?
Oh, my Alfred, you know, we made this just for you.
I was terrified. Although my name isn't Alfred, it's Aiden, you dipshit.
Well, I better get going to your house.
The episode ends with Baba Gnops walking away. I can't go to sleep now. 5/6/17. I got an email from Andrew again. Hi, I got to mail you an episode that was inspired by a video game, but it doesn't have a minute. Thanks. An hour later, I got a package, and in that package was a tape named A Bad Night Shift. I decided to play it. It had the normal intro, then it cut to the Krusty Krab. Okay, boys, I'll see you in the morning, Mr. Krabs says.
Okay, sir,
SpongeBob and Squidward said. They proceed to talk about their day, and they hear a creak noise. You should go check it out, Squidward says.
Okay.
SpongeBob says. Baba Gnops walks to where the noise came from, and there standing in front of Baba Gnops was a dark figure standing there making creepy noises. Spo runs back, saying,
Squidward, something is here.
They both proceed to hide, and the screen fades to black. Words appear on the screen saying, Tune in for part 2. Then the tape ends. I found another tape saying, A Bad Night Shift, part 2. I will watch it tomorrow. 5/7/17. Part 2? Here it is! Part 2! So it cuts to a time card that says 2 a.m. Then it cuts to SpongeBob and Squidward are hiding in the cash boat. What is it? Squidward says.
I honestly don't know,
SpongeBob said. Spo Baba Gnops peeks up from the boat to see the figure standing next to the boat. Baba Gnops and Squidward screams while the figure comes closer and static happens. Then it is just static until it cuts to SpongeBob's house where SpongeBob is looking at a wall. Baba Gnops turns toward the viewer with the same look from the pilot and the episode ends. I was looking on that website and found out there are a lot of episodes I didn't see, so oh boy. 5/11/17. Today I got an email from an unknown user. Hi, I want to show you something. There's a censored link right here. I censored the website, so I decided to click on the website link. It led me to a website with the world download, and I clicked it. I received a message saying, Thanks for downloading. And then I was taken to a video. The video started out with a title card saying Evil Spongebob. Then I realized that this was a Spongebob episode. Yes. The episode starts with Spongebob sitting on his bed and murmuring some things. He then stands up and walks downstairs. Music is playing in the background. He proceeds to get a knife and looks at Gary. He walks to him but puts the knife on his wheel. He didn't stab him, but the knife was on top of the shell. SpongeBob then stabs the shell of Gary. The screen that cuts to black while weird music is playing. A time card appeared saying March 16, 2013, 7:30 p.m. I realized that this was the date before March 17th, the day SpongeBob murders people. Baba Gnops is writing on paper, which I assume he is making plans for his big murder. He says in an evil voice, Yes. Then a calm, normal SpongeBob voice says,
No! No!
Quiet, you.
No, I won't let you murder people.
Yes, I will, and no one will stop me. Ha 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 ha. Evil SpongeBob then proceeds to chalk calm SpongeBob. I could hear the painful gagging of the calm SpongeBob. Finally, he's dead. No, I will do what I have to do. Evil SpongeBob says. It cuts to SpongeBob's house with a timestamp. March 17, 2013, 2:34 a.m. Creepy music starts to play as SpongeBob doors opens, and it immediately cuts to black. It shows SpongeBob's corpse. His corpse comes up and looks at me. This is like the events of previous episodes.
Why are you back?
SpongeBob said.
You should have gone back a long time ago.
Then he jumps toward the screen. I could see those eyes again.
Hee hee hee. I will get you one day.
It cuts to the credits. Why did I re-see a segment from a previous episode? I need a break from that one. I need to rest my voice. It's shot right now. I'll give my assessment in a little bit. Alright, it's been a few weeks. If this thing, regardless of its nature, had a physical form, it would be a diarrhea-infested toilet. Not just a toilet with diarrhea in it, but a toilet infested with diarrhea. Like somebody with irritable bowel syndrome, who possessed a diet of nothing but the shittiest food you could get your fucking paws on. Used the toilet and didn't flush it for 11 years and 2 months. That's how shitty this is. Regardless if it's a shit pasta some 9-year-old made or some troll pasta on the troll pasta wiki like I found it on. It doesn't make you laugh. It doesn't make you scared. It just makes you really confused. And seriously, I don't even know if I'm male anymore. Alright, let's break this thing down. The grammar is horrible. That goes without saying. That's all in your face and shit. But the problem I have most with this is, number one, the scare factor isn't really even trying. Bobbing Knops being SpongeBob backwards isn't scary. Reverse shit is not scary. Everybody and their mother and their dogs and their fleas on the dogs have done reverse audio in some form or another already. That is a dead trope. The exposition and background information of this entire story revolves around these two people working at Nick Studios, kidnapping a bunch of other employees, including Steven motherfucking Hillenberg, and telling them to write, animate, what have you, this messed up story. Other than these tapes being possessed and haunted and shit, this has to be one of the most predictable, lousy backstories to something like this. Just the whole lost episode genre is completely worn out and worn down. Every possible theory as to why something like this would be made has already been done, whether it be crazy employees, a creator going crazy, a tape being possessed. I think the only way you're able to make a lost episode creepypasta not cliched at this point, or rather why one would be created, is just the creator being bored as fuck. You know, some staff goofing off or whatever. Something as simple as that. You know, why not have like the crew goof off and make something one-off like this? In fact, if I ever write a creepypasta, that's how I'm gonna start it off. And it would make sense with the animation being very cheesy, or even, you know, storyboards or sketches, because they don't want to use too much resources, because something like this would cost the studio a shit ton of money for something they wouldn't even air, or even mean to air. Anyway, back to the characters. None of the characters talk like they have their own character. They all have a personality akin to the narrators. They are incredibly two-dimensional and wooden, and I tried giving them as much character as I could by making voices for each person, especially Andrew Schizo. But at the end of the day, I think the first part of this is a troll pasta, and some 7-year-old thought it was serious and then took it and spun it off and added more shit to it, and that's the most plausible thesis in my opinion. Whoever added on to that troll pasta, you have a lot to learn. Anyway, that's my 2 cents on this pasta. Whatever it is, even if it's a troll pasta, it's not a good one. I didn't laugh at it at all. If the entire thing was made ironically, you need to work on your irony, boy. So, what will bad creepypastas have in store for us in 2018? Who knows? Ah well, until then, hit the like button and subscribe to see more future episodes. See ya next year. Ha 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 ha. I'm gonna go drink antifreeze now. Fuck out of here. Not just a toilet with diarrhea in it, but a toilet infested with diarrhea. Like somebody with... That was such a good take too. Fuck.